Hey, this is Anthony with RevZilla. Watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new Bell RS-2 helmet available at RevZilla.com. This is the RS-2 Unleashed Fall of 2017. If you look at it, you're going to say, I know this helmet, but it was the RS-1. And I would say you, sir, are correct, but they made a lot of changes. Or you, lady, are you correct? I want to be politically correct today. Now, if we look at it, it takes the same base DNA of the RS-1, which really became a little bit less relevant when Bell unleashed the Star line in the last couple years. The original RS-1 was Snell rated. It was 3 pounds, 10 ounces. It was over the $300 mark. And then the Star came out, the Star came out, and it was the Star, the Race Star, the Pro Star, and just crushed the RS-1 that lived somewhere in the middle. So what Bell has done here is actually something very smart. They've taken base DNA of the RS-1 that was great, and the RS-2 does a few key things. It's going to be fiberglass. They've dropped the Snell rating, so it's now 3 pounds, 6 ounces. It got much more light, and it has a drop-down sun visor that the RS-1 did not have. They also dropped the brow vent, which doesn't bug me that much because I'm looking at a helmet that is sport-oriented, extremely versatile, so commuting, touring, sport touring, DOT ECE. I would not recommend taking a drop-down sun visor helmet to the track, but with the ECE rating, you can stretch it there, but it got light, and it stayed around the $300 mark. So ultimately, we liked the RS-1. We always felt bad that it got not enough credit. The RS-2 should do dramatically better because ultimately, it's now the big brother of the DLX, so the qualifier DLX, and it becomes the composite fiberglass upgrade when you play in that $100, $200 category. Now you go to 3 and you're getting a lighter helmet. The fit and finish are better, and it has that drop-down sun visor before you get into the Star line. Now, quick note on fitment. They've refined the liner, but the fit is the same, and the fit is still consistent with the RS-1's fit and the full line of Bell fit these days, which ultimately they've homologated over the years. Intermediate oval, a little bit longer front to back. I have an intermediate oval head. Most of the US does. If you are round and earth-shaped, you know it. If you're super narrow, you know it. If you're typically fit in most helmets, then most of the case you're intermediate oval. This helmet does not break rank with what Bell has done before. Use the size chart. We'll ship free over 39 bucks. I'd love you to click our logo, subscribe to RevZilla on our YouTube channel. Leave me your comments, your questions, your feedback on the new RS-2. Now, if we look at the helmet, let's break it down a little bit further. Chin vent, relatively unchanged. It's one of our few gripes on this helmet. It's 2-position. You can throttle the amount of airflow. When it's fully closed, it's not the most firm or most positive vent. Sometimes it can leave a little bit of room for leaking. Not that big of a deal. When you get into the shield is no frills, and they've lost the locking mechanism on the RS-2. But what you can get for the shield, mirrored, smoke, transition. Bell has really given you a lot of options by homologating these shields. And again, the fact that you have the drop-down sun visor saves you the need for the dark smoke. So at that point, you can just kind of pimp it up if you like, or go transition if you like as well. And again, you can see this mechanism on the side here. Nice, positive action, not any different than what we'd see in and around this price point from drop-down sun visors. The higher-end helmets typically go down along the jawline, and they use a cable. This is more of a different actuation, which is more of a lever system right here along the left side. Now, if we look at the gasket's fine, but the gasket doesn't have a spring actuated system that's kind of pulling it down. So again, is it going to be the most hardcore and water and wind resistant helmet you've ever seen in head checks or if you're getting rained on? I don't think so. But again, it should stay within the same frame that we saw from the RS-1, which was solid enough. Basic vents along the top of the helmet, open and close. We look towards the back. You do have passive venting underneath here, Venturi vents, and you do have a little bit of a trick strip here in this spoiler mechanism, which is going to aid by adding some downforce if you happen to be riding more aggressively or more in that 3/4 position. Moving to the back of the helmet, basic streamlining, extra vents for extraction down here across the back. And remember, high-speed air moves over a sphere. It creates a vacuum. That vacuum sucks out warm, moist air that's entering the helmet, pulling sweat with it, keeping you cool. They call that the Venturi effect. Now, if we look just on the front side angle here, again, you can get another quick shot of the aerodynamic profile of this helmet. Now, I'm going to reach over here, grab my donut. We'll pull this bad boy apart. And remember, this is your fiberglass shell. That's how you're getting into that 3 pounds, 6 ounce range. And ultimately, you haven't seen me say much negative about this helmet because I believe at the $300 mark, they've covered the bases and then some. If anything, they've taken a step forward. And I think the RS-2 is going to take a bite out of other drop-down sun visor helmets that are playing in this range. Again, it's sporty, aggressive, and it's very functional. Now, if we look at the interior, it's got that silver ionized lining that adds from an antimicrobial standpoint. It's wicking antimicrobial. You do have magnifusion, which really just means here that there's a neodymium rare earth magnet on the chin strap, keeping everything in place. It is not an emergency cheek pad removal system. There are not magnetic cheek pads in this helmet. You have to kind of go up into the Star family to start to see that. If we start removing everything, neck roll comes out first. Again, using premium microfiber materials. You do have a synthetic leather there. Again, finished nicely. Then we work our way into the guts. Cheek pads first. If I remove the cheek pad, you are going to have a decent enough pocket behind the cheek pad to add a comm unit, and you do have a flat spot here, whether you're going sticky mount or clamp mounted. The also ridge or edge of this helmet is not going to be overly pronounced, or using an extra piece of hard plastic that sometimes gets in the way of those comm units. But again, cheek pad, basic contour, not an aggressive race contour, a little bit more comfortable, and you see the lines. Again, that's where different materials are integrated, which are going to block and defunkify any kind of stench that might work on these helmets. And remember, easy cleaning, you just pull these out, run them underwater, they air dry in about 10 minutes and you're good to go. Again, basic on the other side as well. Remember, no emergency cheek pad removal system here, but at the $300 mark, I'm really not complaining because I don't really think we see it very often at those lower price points. What I love is notice where the brow is detaching here in the front. That is a better spot than having tabs up along the forehead. So again, you're not having another area for pressure points. So seamless in the front. Notice everything is stitched, tied together, sonically welded where they needed it to be. Again, update on the inner liner, similar materials, big cutouts along the sides of the top of the head, really in that mohawk area that are going to promote airflow. Look, I've made a little teepee. We'll move that over here now. And if we look at the inside of the helmet, big channels, 10mm vent holes with big channels for interior or induction and extraction of air that's going to work through the head, down along the backside, occipital ridge, really extract that sweat out from the helmet. So whether, oh, I lost when I killed my teepee. If we look at it, you're getting the airflow in, which you can turn on and off. You can actuate and throttle. You're going to have extraction out, whether you like it or not. These passive vents are blocked from the wind and the water as well. If, again, you get hit in a downpour. And like I said earlier, this helmet will work in the upright, three-quarter position. You can even throw your chin on the tank, although I don't believe it was fully designed to be a race thoroughbred. There are other helmets that are better suited for track days. Ultimately, remember, big takeaways here. Price stayed the same. They have added a drop-down sun visor. They shaved 4 ounces off of it. They made it more usable, more functional, and more fully featured, and we dig it. We think the RS-2 will be like the sun that cleared up the dad's bad reputation. And ultimately, the bad reputation on that RS-1 was undeserved. It just became a little bit of no man's land when the qualifier DLX was so good, and we saw the SAR family be so good from Bell. The next step in your journey, click the info button, desktop, mobile device, visit the product detail page at RevZilla.com, read other rider reviews of your RS-2. You should not just take my word for it. As always, we'll ship free over $39. If you want to talk to a gear geek, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown. Remember, subscribe to us at RevZilla on our YouTube channel. Stay up to date with our opinion of the latest and greatest in the moto universe. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.